Aloha, everyone. So I thought I'd do something different. My sound department decided to invest in our project. I'm basically talking, I bought this thing, and now I can have my instruments to work with. Very crucial. My mom definitely talked with her hands, and the nut did not fall far from the apple tree. So I had a dickens of a time. So I'm the boom guy, the sound guy, and the lighting guy. I'm taking everything that I observed. I wouldn't necessarily say learn, but I've observed a lot on movie sets to kind of know when the picture's too hot or, whatnot. And of course it is, because it's starring all of you. All of you. There's my camera. I'll know that. So where was I going with that? So rather than spend the evening talking about ideas, I'd like to still talk about an idea, but be a little personal and share an excerpt from my book with all of you, from chapter 1, entitled Thoughts Are Things. So I'm going to surf through this bad boy and see where I stop. This is just how live TV, even though it's not live, I'm walking a tightrope here, but it's exciting to watch. Here's a good spot. I feel compelled to read from this very chapter. I'll also know when to stop. So choosing to shed my victim status was the only part of my existence over which I could ever hope to gain control. During my hospital stay, I was given doses of Prozac. Side note, it's not a giveaway, but I checked myself into a psychiatric ward once. Not because I thought it was bananas, but I wanted to inflict some form of guilt on my mother for the harsh life that I had lived. Teenagers. I think I was 20-something, actually, so I digress. Subjected to group therapy and had my progress rated by a professionally trained psychiatrist. Yet for all of that, it took a wheelchair-bound mute girl to illuminate my path to personal freedom. I just needed to use my two very capable legs to walk away from it all. Patients were always encouraged to dabble in arts and crafts projects as a way to ease the mind, so I thought I would try my hand at making a friendship bracelet. Oh, I love this story. Several of my friends made bracelets for me back in middle school, yet I never had the time or inclination to return the favor. Frankly, it seemed like a tedious task, and my unwillingness to learn didn't help. Only now I was confined to a psych ward with nothing but time on my hands. The staff even gave me easy to follow, and easy to follow instructions for stringing the entire thing together. Throughout this entire psychotic charade, that's charade in American, one person remained my biggest supporter, Joanne, my then girlfriend. Despite our turbulent past, we could always rely upon each other. The least I could do to commemorate my love and appreciation for her was to string together a piece of memorabilia. During the span of our relationship, Joanne tolerated several late-night harassing phone calls from my mother. She also endured some of my mother's racial tirades directed at her Tex-Mex heritage, especially when I couldn't find the nerve to take the phone from my mom and hang up. When my mother was growing up in Texas, she experienced racism from both the Latino and Anglo students at school. Her pale skin tone reflected her English roots and inflamed the Latinos. Some of her old high school friends told me that the Anglos of that time were less than friendly to Latinos. My mom said Latinos. I'm really emphasizing the Latinos. Right on. Absolutely. Especially now. Would often shield their tacos while they ate so that Anglos wouldn't ridicule their meal. Adapting to new school environments was a routine occurrence during my stretch with children's shelters and foster homes. On my first day of school, I might find myself eating alone for a short time, but before long, several students would welcome me into the fold. However, in my mom's time, Latinos had to endure their entire scholastic experience in segregated areas. My mom also experienced racism from the Anglo side. She didn't have a firm grasp of the English language because Castilian Spanish was the only language spoken in her home. Yet despite her fair skin, she was subjected to much of the same harassment experienced by Latinos. And the racism didn't end at the school grounds. My grandmother was said to foster racist convictions regarding certain Latino ethnicities, Mexicans in particular, claiming their lineage to be inferior to her own Basque heritage. So the Caucasians dismissed her because she couldn't speak English, and the Latinos rejected her because she looked white. Then at home, she was taught to view her European Spanish roots as superior to both the Anglos and Latinos. Over time, Texas Latinos had synthesized the English and Spanish languages, calling it Tex-Mex. As one might guess, grandmother also took issue with what she considered to be a bastardized language, deeming it inferior to Castilian Spanish. Anyone speaking it was considered garbage, or so my mom thought, was taught, pardon me. According to one of my mother's psychiatrists, the dissociative identity disorder was already in full swing during that period. He was able to approximate the start of the condition based on the age identity of her youngest personality, believed to be an infant. Because the infant experienced rejection from all sides, a personality was conceived to reject all others. Having learned of Joanne's Tex-Mex background, it was only a matter of time before her bigoted personality would lash out. So that feels like a good stopping point. The rest, you'll have to read about it. So this is just an impromptu thing. I also want to show you guys what the room of a writer looks like in the 21st, is it the 21st century? Whatever century we're in. This is my modified lamp of 2 shirts to really soften the glow, if you know what I mean. In fact, let's brighten it up in here. And there's my desk. This is actually a personalized monogram that I made of myself, and I highly recommend that everyone read this. Let's see, what do we have? This is a piece that I bought in Hawaii, and I'll tell you more about that later. And this is the blanket that hangs over my bed, and it is there because it is the quilt that my mother made to bring me home from the hospital when I was born. And then this, get my sound guys on, lowering the volume, is something my mom made for me. And it says, well, Papa, here's some peanuts with some more. You can make peanut butter. And she even used the pencil shavings to make little flowers and butterflies. And a little peanut right there, and an airplane because of my dream to travel the world. This is, well, we'll go, I feel like I'm showing E.T. all my shit. Okay, oh, sorry, earmuffs, kids. That is a terrarium that I made. These are kind of dogs that I still love very much. They are a beautiful product of an ex and I. And so that's it. I got a boogie, but I hope this was, I don't know, cool in some way. I hope, you know what, you keep doing your thing, because I'm doing mine right now. Aloha.